No show.
No,
Oh,
there
sorry. Sorry. YouTube, you've been on mute. Hopefully you could lip read. Anyway, all that we were saying, the main thing that you missed there was a big welcome to everybody. We're asking people to introduce themselves, let them know where they're watching from, and then it was a huge thanks to everybody that joined us last night over in the Flowery Fun group for the Q&A. It was really successful, and over 400 people downloaded the Flower Cloud. I keep going to say crowd. The Flower Cloud tutorial that we offered free to everybody that joined in last night. And as Deirdre just said, you can still pop over there and you can download it if you missed out last night. So what's the plan today? So last week we did a hydrangea dory, okay? And again, that was really successful because the amount of people over in the Flowery Fun group who actually copied it, most of them were even nicer than mine.
They were.
Now, you're not supposed to agree with me, dear,
no,
but they were, you know, that way. They were absolutely fabulous. There was a gorgeous purple and pink one, purple and pink. It was absolutely fabulous, it was. So there was, it was great to see that when I do demonstrate something that is actually copy it. So tonight what I'm going to do is an end of summer door swag, because here in Ireland anyway, all the kids are back in school. A lot of them went back today. Some went back yesterday, the junior infants and that. And all the secondary schools are back next week. So it's kind of like end of summer. I know you might say in Ireland it's really autumn, but we always kind of class September is kind of more autumn. And I'm going to do it on a piece of rope. So this is just something that you could pick up in a building providers, and it doesn't have to be as thick as this. You could actually use a thinner piece, and you can cut it into any length that you want. So I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter. And where did I put the scissors?
Your door.
There we go. Yeah. So let me see. I'm going to go for about that length there. But it's just that people might think, God, they probably won't cut for me now. Is it difficult to cut the rope? You know what I mean? You just kind of like gnaw at it. Fairly hard. There we go. This is a thickish one. There you go. And that's the rope kind of cut. So I'm going to go for that length, which is about what? 50,
60 centimeters.
Less than 60 centimeters approximately, okay? And on top of it, just to save a little bit of time, you can see I've just I covered it in fabric ribbon, but you could just use the normal florist paper ribbon, and then I just tied a thin piece around it, and that's actually for hanging it onto the door knocker. So that's what the plan is there, okay? Now, last night we were talking about Christmas. And we're talking about the Christmas course, because, and I know lots of you booked on after my little talk last night, because there's still lots of places on it. But for the Christmas course, we have a special offer, an early bird special offer. And anybody that books before the 1st of September, if you're living in Ireland, Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland, you will automatically get a free door kit posted out to your house, okay? Anybody that books after the 1st of September, you won't get the kit. It's not included. It was just like a special offer, okay? Well, we were talking about pine cones last night, because I know last week actually, I showed you a video of all the bags of pine cones outside my house. Deirdre wants to catch my attention.
Gail and Elaine have shared the link to the Flowery Fun group.
Fair play,
and so has Breda. So thanks, Elaine. We have great help there.
Yeah, and I want something else done in a minute, okay? So bear with me, okay? Keep listening out. So last week I showed you where I buy in the pine cones in big sack loads, okay? 10 kilos is in the bag. Like I've actually never counted them, but I'd say there's about 400. Would you say 400?
I don't know.
I haven't got a clue. I don't know. We'll run a competition one day and we'll count them, okay? But I would reckon that there's about 400 cones in the bag. There's absolutely loads of them, okay? And the thing is, every year, the wholesalers and the suppliers and the growers, all the suppliers that sell the pine cones, they're always sold out nearer Christmas. You know that way. Now, you'll still have plenty of time when the Christmas course starts on the 1st of November. But just for anybody that's maybe in a flower shop situation, this week and next week, oh my God, it'll be dead in the flower shops. There's nothing happening. Now, if you're busy, fair play to you, and I'm absolutely delighted that you're busy. But normally, these will be quiet weeks in flower shops. Always the week with the kids going back to school, the first week back in school, nobody has a bloody penny, you know that way, and it's normally very quiet. What are you laughing at?
Violet says she's coming to yours to grab your pine cones.
You don't know where I live. I have a camera on the front of my house there. The pine cones are in my front garden there. So this is the week that a lot of flower shops would organise, and they buy in the sacks of cones and they would wire them. And then just somebody was saying last night when I was discussing this, and we're saying, oh God, any chance is showing us how to wire it. Now this is where the secretaries, okay, might come in handy for me, right? is I am going to demonstrate how to wire the pine cones, but I'm not going to be able to come close to you, okay? Because I did try coming around the other side of the counter, and I was like a big moon face. You could see the potholes, the wrinkles, and the spots in my skin, you know, that way, because I was too close to you. And because we've so many cameras on here, Deirdre can't zoom in. But over on YouTube, okay, I do have, under Kay's Flower School on YouTube, on our channel, we do have a tutorial on how to wire the pine cones, and it does come in really close and it shows lots of detail. So somebody who's quick on their fingers might be able to pop over to YouTube, find that little video for me, and then pop it here. But you can do it later on if you want to hang on.
Trisha Kenny says hi from Forteventura.
Oh, you're wagging you. I hope you get sunburnt on your arse. Oh, fair play to you. I'm absolutely delighted. Hope you're having a gorgeous cocktail. You know that way, or lots of cocktails, are just enjoying it, and a big jug of sangria. You can't beat the sangria. Fair play to you. I'm mad jealous.
Karen says that she got the big bag last year. She didn't get to use all of them, so
and they'll be perfect for this year.
Yeah.
They'll be perfect. So what is next? So first of all, you need to buy the pine cones. Now somebody's going to say, where do you buy the pine cones? We buy them wholesale, okay? And any of the students that will be on the Christmas course, or that's on any of our professional floristry programs, we will have set up accounts with you, with all the wholesalers, and this wholesaler included. So I normally buy them from Stuart Williams in Wicklow, by the 10-kilo bag, okay? And just for any of the students, the new students that haven't actually enrolled, just drop us an email and I'll be able to send you on the details. But any of the past students, you'll find all the details in the student resource, okay? So that's on the website. So when you click on the student resource, use your login and your password, and you'll get all the information there. So the next thing you'll need to buy are 20 gauge wires. Now, it's really important that you make sure you buy the right gauge wires. Don't look at a packet of wires and say, they look like the ones that Janette used, because you can get 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26, and 28. And if you buy any of the numbers except 20, you're in the shits you are, you know what I mean, because they won't work. Now, do you remember I mentioned Charlie up in Evergreen Silk Plants up in RD, County Loud? He has the 20 gauge wires, or again, anybody that's maybe going to the wholesalers, you can buy them there. Anybody that's doing this on a small scale, your local flower shop will oblige you and sell you a small bunch of the wires. Now, I'd recommend to buy the longer ones, okay? So definitely 12-inch and maybe even 14-inch, okay? The little short ones are no good, and they will be cheaper because they're sold by the weight, okay? So buy the longer ones, a minimum of 12-inch wire.
I see Flowers Made Easy has joined us over on
Absolutely.
Instagram.
And Flowers Made Easy, and they do sell retail and wholesale, and they offer a 10% discount to all our students. But I'm sure if our followers said they were a student, wink wink, you know, that way, I couldn't see a problem. And all you have to do is use the discount code KAYSFS. So K's Flower School. Somebody might put that in the comments there. It can be small letters or big letters. What's the girl's name there? Lisa, is it?
Lisa,
I can't remember.
that's right, Lisa.
I haven't talked to you in ages, Lisa. Well, listen, if it is Lisa that's watching, get the buckets back in, because the girls will all be looking for their buckets for Module 1 starting the 15th of September. So anyway, back to the wires. You need your 20 gauge, you need them 12 inches or 14 inches long. So go as low down on the pine cone as you possibly can. We call these like the little petals, okay? So as low down as you possibly can, you insert the wire in between the lowest petals. Now, don't go down into the really little tight ones there. You're only making things real hard for yourself. So like step up to the next level, that's fine. And you're going to leave about, you know me, an inch, okay? 2 centimeters, 2 and a bit centimeters. You're going to leave a good inch, 2 centimeters sticking out. Now, definitely don't have that too long. The mistake people make is they stick half the wire. You know what I mean? You're going to have a complete mess made, and you won't be able to use them when it comes to November and December. So make sure it's approximately an inch sticking out, okay? What you then do is you support the short bit of wire with your finger or your thumb, okay? And the longer piece of wire, which is about 10 inches, 12 inches sticking out on this side, you kind of wiggle it or insert it in between the petals until it comes around and it meets the other piece of wire. Hopefully you can see that. Can they see that?
Yeah, just about.
And they cross over, okay? So they literally cross over. So again, I'm just going to put my hands behind that, that hopefully you can see it. And where the two wires cross over each other, all you do is with your finger and your thumb is twist, twist, and stop. Because there is the perfectionists, the OCD ones out there, and they go twist, 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 and their handles start bleeding, okay? Because again, they get through the 400 feckin' pine cones, they'll have no skin on their fingers. 2 twists, and stop. Okay, so I'll do that again. So you get your pine cone.
Just Breda has found the link, but I presume it's the link, Breda, because it's just as a
For wearing the
YouTube for wearing
pine
the pine
cones.
cones.
And that is it. So later on, go back through the comments where I'm talking about this. You can click on that link. And
that's on Facebook. Anyone that's on Facebook.
Yeah, so you'll have to go to Facebook page to find that link, unless somebody on Instagram can do it for me. And it comes in and shows you in detail, and it comes in from the side, and you see it from a few different angles. Because I do completely understand it's very hard on a live camera, because as I said, it's awkward for me to start moving around. Deirdre will kill me if I start moving around. Like when I come over here, she goes mad. So you get your 20 gauge wire, you insert it between the lower petals. You're leaving about 1 inch or 2.5, 2 centimeters sticking out on the opposite side. Support the short bit with your finger, and then the longer piece of wire, wiggle it or twist it or insert it, whatever way you want to call it, in between the petals all the way around until it comes across and it literally overlaps the short bit of wire that's sticking out. So you end up kind of like with a crisscross or an X, like X marks the spot. And with your finger and thumb, 2 twists and stop. So you do have that small little bit of wire sticking out. It's absolutely fine. I'd rather have that bit of wire sticking out than have no skin on my finger. So you get in now and you wire up the 400 pine cones. Don't give out to me if there's only 399 in the bag. And maybe flowers.ie, if you're watching, is it Lisa who's I'm talking to, let us know. But you probably have bags of pine cones. So feel free. Put your link up there. We don't need a secretary for you. You can look after yourselves. Put your link up there that they can find your page. And if you do have the pine cones in stock already, put up a little bit of detail and the price and so on. So
Joanne says that she's taking her kids to the forest tomorrow to collect the pine cones.
That's it. You know what I mean? Once the kids go back to school, or do you know, normally outside the schools, if there's any grounds, a lot of them have like the trees, and all the pine cones will be on the ground. Or anybody that has farms, you know, that way. I remember one student we had before, it's Gas, I think she was from Dingle, and she said her dad let all the cows into the fields to eat the grass because literally the field was full of pine cones. Now, I was wondering about all the cow shite on the pine cones afterwards, but obviously it didn't bother her. So now we're going to send you to Aldi, okay? I got these in Aldi on the Kylemore Road, Ballyfermot, okay? They were $3.99 a tin, and they have absolutely loads of them. And I'm sure other Aldis have them. So again, if anybody is in Aldi in whatever branch it is, post it in the Flary Fun group, take a photograph and say Aldi in, I don't know, Mayo, Aldi in Sligo, because they probably have other colours. Now, they had pale blue and they had cream, but I didn't buy them ones, okay? The copper is amazing. So I've done some samples just to show you. And I'll get Deirdre to bring these in close in a few minutes. I'll give her the 4 of them. So this is the pine cone sprayed copper. So Deirdre will bring that in close. And I would definitely recommend buying it because it's a much nicer colour than the colour that's on the tin. And I actually think it's even nicer than the gold. So hopefully you've seen that one there. The other colour I bought was the rose gold. Now, it's nice. I was a little bit disappointed. It's a bit flat. It's not as shiny and glistening. And you know me, I love the bling, okay? So that's the rose gold colour. So Deirdre will bring that in close and let you see that one. The other colour was the silver. This one was amazing. Bling, 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 bling. Look, the silver, you know, that way. It's like, it's nearly like a mirror. It's fabulous, it is. So I just thought that was an absolutely great colour. And the other colour, you know me for the pinks, okay? I bought the pale pink and I was a little bit disappointed in it. But I think if I have it mixed in with kind of pinky decorations, it's a bit wishy-washy. It looks like a white pair of knickers gone through a pink wash, you know, that way. And they kind of have a little bit of a pink hue off them. So it's a little bit pale, but it's grand, you know, that way. So go out to Aldi, get the sprays, because they're only $3.99. And what I do is I wire the cones, okay? And then I place them down in a cardboard box. I spray them, shake the box, shake, rattle and roll, and the cones kind of roll over, and then you can do the other side. And you don't have to have, I did spray these like, you know, completely. But really when we're inserting them into the decorations, we make the good side look out, you know, the way, and the bad side is facing downwards. So like you don't have to completely spray the pine cone. So hopefully that gave you a couple of little tips there.
Bernie Curley says she loves me nails. I'm the state of them, like they need to be done so
I was
badly.
actually talking to Bernie today. Bernie gave me a
right.
ring today. She's having a little bit of problem with her hands. And she's probably not organised now. I'm probably putting her on the spot. But she's going to have a load of gear that she's selling off because the doctor has advised her.
Okay.
I'm not sure what it is. But anyway,
and she probably
it's not arthritis
over
now.
the
It's nothing
Flary
old
Fun
age
group,
now.
yeah.
It's nothing to do with old age.
No,
no.
You
I'd say it's counting her money.
probably
I'd say it's
what
counting her money.
is,
I'd say
yeah.
Jo now has a good few bob there, and she's probably up all night counting his money. Now, the reason I have the sunflowers on the table, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Next Wednesday lunchtime, so make a note of this. Next Wednesday lunchtime, I'm going to do a live, and I'm going to use these artificial sunflowers, and I'm going to do a flower arrangement, okay, using them. There's obviously lots of other stuff that I'm going to use. And these sunflowers were, again, Charlie's evergreen silk plants, okay? Now, there's other stuff that I'm using, but just maybe anybody in the meantime that is up there, if you pick up 5 or 6 of them, that's what I'm going to be using, and that'll be next Wednesday. And
I was saying that about getting the kids to paint the pine cones.
Absolutely, that you could do that. And do you remember, like years ago, some of you, the young ones now won't remember this, but the elder ones will remember. Somebody was asking last night about being over 50. I said nothing wrong with being over 50. Do you remember when we had white runners years ago, and we used to have to use the shoe whitener, and there was a sponge at the top. Now your runners would go rock hard, like you'd nearly be cracking like walking down the road. Like nowadays, like nobody does that. When they get discouraged, you fuck them out and you buy a new pair. Anyway, back to silks. Like last week, I had loads of emails about the silk hydrangeas. Just went mad about them. And then somebody was saying, any chance of showing them again? So that's what they look like. So they were, I don't have any other colours here available because I've used them. But they're the artificial bushes of hydrangeas that came from Charlie in evergreen silk plants. Somebody might stick his link there for me.
Vicky is watching and she says she got the hydrangeas from him. So Vicky, you might post his
you
link
might
for
post
me
a
there.
link there for me. Put the @side evergreen silk plants. These are only €5, and that's including the VAT. If you're buying wholesale in larger quantities, you'll get them even cheaper. But at a fiver, if you want to copy what I'm doing tonight, okay, like that one bush, you know what I mean, will actually make the swag that I'm going to make tonight. And the only other thing you need is a bit of organza to make a bow. And again, last week I mentioned, Charlie, will get another colour there. Charlie has the rolls of organza fabric. Now his ones are longer. And again, I think they were $5.50 or $5.99. And again, use the code KAYSFS and you get a discount off them. So now I better start.
We have the best secretaries. We absolutely have. Elaine, Gail, and Breda. You're going to get a special little treat. Absolutely. I want you to send me an email with your address.
And we're going to post spot prizes. We're on spot prizes tonight. We are spot prizes. So all the secretaries are going to get a spot prize. They'll be all fucking posting links on night tonight. There'll be no room for the comments. Who's watching anyway, dear? Is there anyone watching us?
We're not as many people watching us last week, but then last week they were really sharing for us. But Bernie Hurley says, thanks, you've lifted my spirits at a time when it's tough, and you ladies are magic. But Bernie, you're a magic.
Absolutely.
Julie, any tips on using snow spray? I only managed to use it once and it blocks up.
Yeah, warm water, take the nozzle off. It can happen with them ones as well, you know, that way. So warm water, warm soapy water, swish it in it, you know, that way. And it's normally grand. Now, the next thing I'm going to use is a roll of real wire. I call it real wire. The majority of people call it mossing wire, except case flower school students and followers. Scuff coat. That's right. That was the name of it. Yeah, that's mad. Yeah.
Somebody on Facebook.
She's obviously over 50, I'd say.
It must be. Yeah.
And you'll get the rolls of real wire in flowers.ie, in wholesaleflowers.ie, and you'll also get it in evergreen silk plants. He has them for sale as well. And one of these would make about, I'd say, 10
swags.
10 swags, or even 10 of the wreaths that we did last week. You know, that sort of way, because so it works out great value. It lasts you for ages. So greenery wise, I wasn't going to use greenery. It wasn't the plan. I went around to Mam's today having a cup of tea, and she says, Jesus, Janette, my bush needs to be trimmed. And I says, don't get personal, Mam. And she says, no, my pittis boring bush. So anyway, got Dad anyway, and he just cut me a couple of chunks of the pittis borum. So I'm going to add it in because it was blocking our view. She couldn't see the neighbours' houses, so we had to trim the bush. So all I did was Dad trimmed it. I dumped it in the bucket of water, and that's what I'm going to use now. And then also the hydrangeas, I trimmed them off my own bush. And again, I dumped them in water, and then I've left them kind of like drip dry.
Some of them are from yesterday.
Some of them are actually from yesterday as well, from one of the demonstrations that I was doing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start on the end of the rope that hasn't got the ribbon on it. So just hold the real wire with your thumb and wrap it around the same spot about 4 or 5 times. There's no need to make a knot, but if you want to, you could twist it around itself. You know what I mean? So there's the real wire attached to the end of the rope. And remember, the rope doesn't have to be as long or as thick, or, you know, it can be any length depending on your whole door. So what I'm then going to do is get a little kind of bunch of the foliage, okay, bunch it together. And I'm going to pick up a hydrangea head. And again, I'm just going to rest it on it, okay? Kind of holding it up kind of close-ish. And then I'm going to rest that on the rope, but the idea is that it's overlapping the end of the rope. So don't start it that the rope is here, okay? Let the flower and the greenery actually overlap it. Hold it tight, okay? I'm going to put my rope that direction. And then you get your reel wire and you wrap it around it. And you're kind of coming down the stem a little bit. By leaving the stem a little bit longer, it holds the moisture in. But the idea is that these hydrangeas will dry out. Now, when they dry out, they can go discolored. There's no guarantee. Sometimes they kind of go like a kind of a deep beigey cream color, and other times they hold their color. It's a little bit of a fluke. But again, last week I suggested is if you buy some of the aerosol sprays and you give it a dash of the spray, like say if you have a hydrangea wreath and then it's looking a little bit tired looking coming into the middle of September, get that copper spray, put it down on the grass or somewhere, cardboard box, whatever, and spray it copper. It will look amazing. And then it'll be an autumnal wreath. So at the moment we're end of summer, but we'll be working towards autumn.
Catty is watching in from WI, USA. What's that, Wisconsin, is it?
WI.
And 80 degrees, humid storm rolling in. She bought up all the artificial hydrangea bushes for 75 cents after watching the wreath last week.
Where was that?
In WI, West. I think it's...
No, Wisconsin would be WC, wouldn't it? Anyway, let us know where it is. We're a bit thick here.
When it comes to
here. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change this. I'm going to keep the hydrangea on top, and I'm going to put the greenery underneath.
I think so,
okay?
yeah.
Getting mixed up, I was there, right? So I'm just wondering about the geography there, you know, where is WI? So again, you can see the way I'm wrapping the reel wire around it, and you can see the way the flower heads, you see where they're close together, and just by adding the greenery at the back now, do you see the way it kind of camouflages the rope? But listen, this is going to be against your door, so if you don't want to use greenery, because I wasn't planning on using foliage, I was just going to use the hydrangeas. But as I said, Arthur Allen lives across the road from my mum and dad. My mum likes to see, like, is he going in and out? Is he bringing in women?
Is he all right?
Is he all right? You know, that way. And that's why we needed that bush trimmed.
Margaret is watching in from Trinidad.
Hiya, Margaret. How are you? Well, it's Trinidad. I'm not going to say where it is because I don't know where it is.
It's far away.
Very far away.
Very
so again, you can see the way we're adding in the heads here. And again, get your hand, you know what I mean, whichever is your weaker hand to kind of grip it, and then you can use your stronger hand. And when I'm wrapping the wire, I always wrap away from my body. And I think most right-handed people wrap away from their bodies. And left-handed people will use obviously their other hand, and they wind in towards their chest. And it makes absolutely no difference once you keep going, you know the way. And again, I'm kind of coming down the stem a little bit to give it a little bit of support, and this is what it looks like so far. So if you lived in a leprechaun house, you know, that way you could stop now, you know what I mean, because you wouldn't need to make it as long. So it's completely up to yourselves. Now, actually, I loved last week the way you loved the little video that we put up of hanging it on the door.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anyone watching tonight?
No, I don't know. Nobody watching that might
be. Nobody to surprise.
We might surprise somebody.
You never know. You never know.
Very power, beautiful. Definitely going to give this a go. It is, and it's so easy.
Just something different.
Somebody asked, where would you get the rope, Janette?
At building providers. But you know, if you know anybody that works in a garage, they'd always have ropes for towing cars. And if the rope was a little bit dirty, you know, there was oil or dirt or cement on it, she just covered the whole rope with ribbon. And to be honest, if you look at the back of mine, she can hardly see the rope now. The greenery is covering it, and you definitely can't see it in the front. So it really doesn't matter. Or I actually don't have a clothesline at home. I'm a lazy bitch. I use the dryer. But like it'd be a bit skinny, a clothesline rope, you know what I mean? But if you maybe put two pieces of it together, and again, maybe wrap them together with a bit of reel wire or a bit of ribbon, that would also kind of work out for you.
Yeah, we'd love a few more shares, guys.
Come on,
hi girls. Jane says, hi girls, another funny demo. We're not supposed to be funny.
No, this is supposed to be dead serious. Like, I'm supposed to be a teacher. Not supposed to be funny.
We were laughing at some of the comments that came in last night.
So funny last night. You know, we were like happy ticks, like reading the comments, you know, that way. And I would have been probably better off answering some of them as I was going along, but we were just enough to laugh and reading them. I was laughing when I said about being a secretary, so I should be better off on the stage.
Don't know about that. Your hydrangeas are fast to colour. My friend has lovely hydrangeas.
You don't ask me to bribe.
I'll be going to relocate them tomorrow. Patricia, and actually Patricia put up a message there earlier on. Patricia was one of the winners of the door wreath kit. Or not kit, the course.
All right.
So
did she enjoy it?
She loved it. She said,
and I hope you put a little review on the Thinkific site. We'd really appreciate that. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you put a little review. And you can just see, as I'm coming near the end here, I'm just kind of trimming off the surplus stems. So again, just to let you see it so far. And I'm now going to put the last flare in.
Very good point. Jackie Nealon says, maybe plait a thin rope.
great. That would be absolutely brilliant. Or do you know what? If you've seen somebody on the bus with a big long plait at the back of their hair, you could just cut the plait off, couldn't you? You could choose their
Mary
hair.
Flynn, lovely job. Had to hurry back from the two sisters to be here on time.
The two sisters.
My local.
Very good.
That's when we go now for our Sunday lunch to the two sisters.
Do you not make Sunday lunch, dear?
What? Make? What do you make?
So I'm on the last flare here now, and again, I'm going to cut these stems that little bit shorter. Don't cut me little. Jesus, I nearly cut me little.
And lots of people there saying that they're definitely going to try this this week.
And like, you know, like the artificial would be great, you know, that way if you want something that's going to last a little bit longer. Like somebody was saying last week about the fresh hydrangea, and you're saying, oh God, like, you know what I mean, what if it didn't last? It cost you fecking nothing. She said, so what if it didn't last? You could use the base again.
Okay, we're looking for Fiona O'Shea's address.
Okay.
Because she bought pampas grass plant in her front garden.
I could imagine her swinging.
After last night's conversation, she said,
laughing at Admiral. She said she used to like Admiral, or that she used to like pampas grass. And then after last night's little story, and if you missed last night's story, you have to go over to the Flary Fun group and watch it last night to learn all about the pampas grass.
And the link to the Flower Cloud is still over in the Flary Fun group. So, and I know Gail and Breda and Elaine posted the link to the Flary Fun group, so you can go over there and get the link. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's on YouTube.
So this is there so far. So the very end there, where I just finished now with the wire, okay, just where the rope was, that's where I have my little bow, okay, and I'll show you how to make this bow. So I just have a little bow made, and that's going to tie then, you see at the top. So I'm just going to turn that over a little bit on its side there, tie a knot at the back, and it kind of covers the mechanics you see at the end.
Patricia wants to know, she says, where does she leave the reviews? Your teaching is absolutely a delight.
Oh, thanks,
Patricia, if you can't find it on Thinkific, just go on to Google and do a Google review. We'd love that too. Thanks a million.
And maybe somebody might find the review link for us.
Olga says she'd love to stay on, but she's more flowers to do. I think Olga has a wedding this weekend.
She's a big wedding. Best of luck with the wedding, and don't forget, post all the photographs. I'm nearly finished anyway. It's only a quickie here tonight. So I'm going to just show anybody that just wants to know how to make that bow. So what you need is your length of organza ribbon. Now, because I made that in two tones, so I used two colors together at the same time. But when you're only starting, you're probably as well just to stick to the one piece. So that's just the one piece of organza off them rolls that I showed you, okay? And remember I said Charlie has them, but his ones are a bit wider. So where I'm going to squash it in, you just do exactly the same to his ones, you know what I mean? Just squash it in. And the length of it, we call that an Irish yard, okay? Now, I have exceptionally long arms, as you can see. So from one shoulder, the length of your arm, we call that a yard, and it'd be a bit longer than a meter, you know, that way. So just roughly, that's the measurement. So the bow is called, we call it a collar bow. So the idea is that it's as if you were wrapping it around your neck like a scarf, okay? And if you kind of crisscrossed it across your chest. So that's the technique for making the bow. Unfortunately, your head can't be inside it when you're doing it. So you do the same thing. I know it's awkward to see it against the shelves here. But again, we do have a link for how to make bows. So maybe Gail and Elaine and maybe some of the others. And remember the spot prizes for the secretaries. Is where you'll find that one is on our website. There's a blog button, and when you click on the blog button and you scroll down, there's a link there that says how to make bows, and there's loads of videos there. So somebody might copy that link and they post it, and you never know, you get a little spot prize. So there I am, crisscross over, you know, that way across your chest. Grab the back of what I would say is around the back of your neck, bring it into the front, and can you see the way the bow gets made? And when I was doing it in the two colors, I just used the two colors at the same time. Now you can use any ribbon. I was trying to bring in the tones of pinks, okay? So that's why I kind of went with two shades of organza. I had the pink satin ribbon, and then I had the cerise thin ribbon. But like, it don't kind of feel that you need to have all the same ribbons that I have here. And anyway, you might detest pink. So you just wrap your skinny piece of ribbon around, and then you tie a knot. A piece of twine will do the same job, and even a piece of the florist ribbon, you know, the cheap florist ribbon, that would do the same job. So pull these really tight and then tie a double knot. Now, I purposely didn't open mine out too much. I didn't want it too full. But if you want to, I'll just show you with this one. Do you see the way you can open out the organza to its full width and make it really, really fluffy, if that's what you want to do? Now, remember, if you buy the rolls from Charlie, his ones are going to be that little bit wider. And then the two tails, rather than being fussy at the beginning, trying to get them the same length, I just squashed them over and just cut straight across. That's all I did. Didn't even do a fancy little V, because when they're wide like that, it doesn't matter. And then I just grabbed them two strings and I tied it, as you can just see, a little knot at the back. And there's our end of summer door swag. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But you'd probably get away.
Gorgeous it is.
And if the rope was shorter, where's the artificial one where it's through? If the rope was shorter, you could imagine then doing it in the artificial ones. You know, that way, like there's 2 of them. Do you see one under the other? Or again, you could squash them together a little bit tighter. Or last week, I did have a couple of samples to show you where he has these in all shades of pinks and mauves. Well, I'm mad into them sort of shades, you know, that way. And again, you could do a 2-tone, you know, that way, or 3-tone. I actually think they would be great sellers, but they also would make lovely presents, the artificial ones.
Janette Smart said, she says, need to go to find some big hydrangeas that I can do some community pruning. Mine are only tiny.
It's called trimming your bush, Janette.
Enjoy.
And you know what I mean? After the summer we're after having, I think all our bushes need to be trimmed.
Let me see. Who else? Girls. We have to have Christmas parties this year, and be some crack. If we could have a Christmas party, yeah, it'd be great. And our secretaries are on the ball yet again with the links. So thank you, girls. So Breda Stenson, Elaine McNamee, Gail Doherty, and 2 new ones, Anna Fitzgerald and Ellen Morris. Send us an email, info@FlowerSchoolIreland,
with your address before lunchtime
tomorrow. And we'll have something to post to you over the weekend.
Now, just quick reminder, anybody that wants to book onto the Christmas course and avail of the early bird special,
there's only 4 days left.
There's only 4 days left, okay? So you'll find that on the bookings page on the website, flowerschoolireland.com. I'm not going to get the secretaries to do any more work. The module 1 is starting on the 15th of September. And they're already, just sorry if I go off camera for a second, this evening I've been posting, I'm not going to show the address, but stamping all the kits, because a lot of them are going to go in the post next week. Because I want all the UK ones, on any of the overseas ones, I want to get them in posted nice and early so that they'll have them. So my plan is to post the kits on the 1st of September. Now, the thing is, you don't need the kit until 10 days into the program. So if you miss the first batch, you'll be in the second batch, you know what I mean? But just should be saying, how did they get their kits earlier? Because they booked earlier, okay? So anybody that's already booked on and that has paid their school fees, your kit will be going in the post on the 1st of September, and you'll get an email to give you a little bit more information.
Ben Mitchell, 2,000 or 20,000, said, super mummy.
Thanks, Ben. Ben is probably starving, saying the fecker was over there doing flowers and she left no dinner for us. Because I'm over here packing boxes, Ben, making door swags or whatever. Okay, so next week on Wednesday, it's going to be a lunchtime. We're kind of like jiggling around. We were always doing Friday morning at 11 o'clock. So we're just kind of like changing it around a little bit, just trying to see like what days or what times kind of suit people better, you know the way. And the thing is, if you're not able to tune in, remember you can always watch it on the replay anyway. So 1 o'clock next Wednesday, and it's going to be a sunflower arrangement. So that's the plan for next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And nothing else. I know you have something organised for the Bloom Studio.
Yeah, the Bloom Studio, but that'll be next week. Yeah,
that'll be next week, and we'll give you more information. So listen, huge thanks for joining in. We'd really appreciate a couple of shares. You know, that way, as I said, well, it's not the only reason we come on, but the big reason we come on to do the free live classes is to build up our following, build up the algorithm, and try and beat Facebook at its own game, you know that way. So by you sharing and by you commenting and giving us a few smiley faces and giving us a thumbs up on YouTube, you know that way, it really makes a big difference to the interaction, you know that way, with Facebook, etc. So really, really appreciate it. So listen, have a fabulous weekend, everybody. We're taking tomorrow off. We won't be working. Probably answer a few.
Well, just to post out those.
Oh yeah, we post out. I'm thinking today is Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be working for a little bit in the morning. So if you can get your names and addresses as soon as, stick them in the email there to see them. Do it now when you think of it. And it means I can come in the morning, get them posted off to you. It's a surprise, by the way. Get it posted off to you, and then I'm just going to flake out for the day. I'm heading up to Deirdre's garden and lie in the sun, and maybe she'll make us an aperol.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Listen, goodbye. Thanks for joining. Talk to you all very soon.